J'ai vécu 50 ans
I
avec
lived
monsieur
for 50 years with Mr. Pelicot, who was a kind man, a devoted family
bon père de
man.
famille.
It
Il était
was a
très, très bon
beautiful
papa
love story,
jusqu'à ce 2
until
novembre
the
où il
day
est
I
tombé
found
seul
myself facing the
face à la
horror
mort.
of the facts.
Difficult was it to reveal your identity, to face the world?
It was very hard. I didn't want anybody to discover and know about this woman who had experienced all this violence. Because in truth, victims always feel shame about what happened to them. I told myself that if I opened the closed door proceedings, the shame would change sides.
Holding her up as a feminist hero.
What are you seeing, thinking, feeling going through that crowd of cameras?
Mais vous savez, j'étais
You
pas
know that
seule dans
I
ce
wasn't
tableau.
alone.
Ça aussi,
It was an incredible source of strength for me.
il y en
I
a
was
qui
always wondering what my mission on earth was, why I had been born. Some are painters, some are poets, others are writers. I think my mission was to give others hope, that even after hardship, you can rise again and choose happiness.
Okay, so there were men who were solicited. They went over there and then they said, nah, this is messed up. This is crazy. I'm not going to do it. And didn't say anything about it. That is why it is all men.
It raises a deeper question. Are these crimes the work of monsters, or do they reveal something far more deep-rooted about power, entitlement, and men?
I've been really wanting to talk about this, so let's get into it. It's really disturbing. It's just rehearing her story again is crazy because the way that it all unfolded, the way she found out about it, the fallout from it, like everything. It's astounding. Like I can't even, it's hard to put into words what happened. But I've been wanting to hear what she had to say. I did. I really do. So I'm a bit excited to listen to her speak out because I think that she's so interesting, like how she's handled it. Um, I'm sure it's been like heavy as hell, but she seems to be holding it together. So there's that. That's a lot. Like that says a lot about her and her character and her. I think her support group. I think she does get a lot of support. I saw an interview with her son a while, almost a year ago now, and he was like the son is like, yeah, my dad is a monster. Like he wasn't on there like this is my dad and my dad's my dad. Like he was like, no, pops is disgusting. So I do feel like she has a good support group around her, and her herself. She has a strong mind, strong-willed woman for sure.
We begin this morning with Seth Doane and an unimaginable crime that made headlines around the world. Warning, this is not a story for younger viewers.
J'ai vécu 50 ans
I
avec
lived
monsieur
for 50 years with Mr. Pelicot, who was a kind man, a devoted family
bon père de
man.
famille.
It
Il
was a
était très, très bon
beautiful
papa
love story,
jusqu'à ce 2
until
novembre
the
où il est
day I
tombé
found
seul
myself facing the
face à la
horror
mort.
of the facts.
Those facts shattered Gisèle Pelicot's seemingly normal life.
The trial shaking much of Europe. A trial that's gotten worldwide attention. A horrifying story of French survivor Gisèle Pelicot.
And it put her at the center of a mass rape trial, an unthinkable crime. It gripped France. But it was her response that.
Did you see all those women out there supporting her? This is why I will never let men try to act like we gave women your rights and no, 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 no. Men do not support the plight of women. I'm just gonna put it to you like that. Men do not support the plight of women. Where are all the men? The crowd should have been twice as big. There shouldn't have been less women there. There just should have been there for every woman. It should have been a man there too. If 50 women showed up, 50 men should have showed up. Can we not all agree that shit is disgusting? That you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not we don't all think that way, right? It just seems like the women think that way. It seems like the men, oh, that's messed up. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, what did she do? Oh, she should have chose. But like, where is the outcry from men? The men, the protectors, right? The not all men men. Where are you at? I never see y'all. I never hear y'all. I never see y'all talking about this type of shit. Never.
Would be defining.
I understand this is your first ever interview.
Oui, pour moi, c'est une
Yes,
grande
it's a
première.
first. I'm not used to speaking in front of cameras. I used to be a very discreet woman.
It all unraveled in 2020 inside this supermarket, when what seemed like a small crime uncovered a far greater one. Her husband, Dominique Pelicot, was caught taking video up women's skirts. His arrest led to the discovery of disturbing footage taken inside their home of
I had no idea that's how he got caught. That is crazy. Mind you, she had no idea that she was married to this man, to this type of person. So for all the men, like, oh, there are signs where? He was hiding it. His kids didn't know. His kids didn't know. She didn't know. So before, again, she's a fully grown woman. Her kids are fully grown too. They're like in their 50s, right? You mean to tell me, here's what I'm saying. If she did it, if you gonna do if you're going to try to pull, she should have known, then shouldn't we say that about her adult children? How didn't her adult children know? Oh, probably because he was hiding it, right? Y'all swear to God, y'all abusers are covert, man. Most of the time, they're not overt.
Gisèle Pelicot unconscious. At a local police station, an investigator told her what they'd found.
Et il me dit, Madame Pelicot, est-ce que vous vous reconnaissez
He
sur
said,
ces photos?
Mrs. Pelicot, do you recognize yourself in these
Non,
photos?
c'est pas moi. Et là,
And
il
I
me dit,
said,
Madame
no, it's not
Pelicot,
me.
c'est bien votre chambre à
Then he
coucher.
said,
Ce sont vos
this is
langues
your
de chair.
bedroom.
Je vois une
And
femme
I see a
qui n'est
woman
pas
I
femme.
don't
Je
recognize
crois
at
pas
all,
que c'est moi parce que je me reconnais
completely
pas du tout.
asleep,
Une
with
femme
a
qui
man
est
beside
totalement
her.
endormie,
I don't know
avec
this
un homme à
man.
côté d'elle qu'elle ne connaît pas. Et là, il me dit, écoutez, Madame
And then he
Pelicot, je
says,
vais vous dire
I'm
quelque
going
chose
to
qui
tell
va
you
vous
something shocking.
horrifier.
You were raped
Vous
by
avez été
53
violée
individuals.
par 53 individus. Et là,
My world collapsed.
mon monde s'écroule.
You described the woman as looking like a rag doll. That woman was you.
Oui, oui. C'était moi, mais je ne me
Yes,
reconnais
it
pas
was
du
me,
tout.
but this
Tellement
woman
cette
was
femme était,
lifeless.
j'avais l'impression qu'elle
She
était
looked
morte.
dead.
Do you remember crying, screaming, blocking everything out?
J'étais
I
sans
could not
voix.
speak.
Non,
I was in such a
j'étais
state of shock.
tellement en état de
All I
choc.
wanted was to go
Je voulais
home to
rentrer
get
chez
my
moi,
life
retrouver ma
back
vie
as it was
d'avant.
before.
But that life was gone. The man she knew was a loving father to their 3 children and a doting grandfather had been drugging her with sleeping pills and muscle relaxants, then inviting men he met online to abuse her.
We talk about hundreds of rapes over a period of time of at least 10 years.
Wow.
She and her lawyer, Stéphane Bobineau, started to grasp the scale of the crimes as they prepared for trial.
How many videos? How many photos?
Photos, we are in the range of hundreds, if not thousands. And for videos, definitely hundreds.
Among the evidence, messages Dominique Pelicot posted online. I'm looking for a pervert accomplice to abuse my sleeping wife. And text messages. I'm about to dose her. We have to wait at least 1 hour to abuse.
Wow. The question that comes to my mind is, why did you hate your wife this much? And then I answer, he just hates all women this much, not just his wife. He has no respect for any woman. He was recording women up their skirts. You know what I'm saying? Like he just doesn't respect women at all. He just hates them. He hates all women. That's all I got. Like what the fuck? What is this? What do you we have to wait at least an hour to abuse? So you know it's abusive. Okay.
It's been a real journey into the darkness.
What were on those videos?
Scene of torture. There is no other word for that.
You say it's a journey through darkness.
Well, on this video, we see a human being being treated as an object. We see men who desecrate a human body, who desecrate someone, Gisèle, who is in profound distress because her life was at risk at every moment where she was drugged and abused.
Victims of sexual abuse can remain anonymous in France. So, up until the trial in 2024, Gisèle Pelicot's name was not known. But then she made a bold decision to demand an open trial, allowing the public and the press into the courtroom.
How difficult was it to reveal your identity, to face the world?
It was very hard. I didn't want anybody to discover and know about this woman who had experienced all this violence. Because in truth, victims always feel shame about what happened to them. I told myself that if I opened the closed door proceedings, the shame would change sides.
That that is why women don't want to come forward. What she just talked about, being shamed, right? Being shamed, being ridiculed. A lot of women in these positions, they get fired from their jobs. They lose their jobs after they were the ones that were assaulted. You know what I'm saying? They lose family members. They lose friends. People blame them. People don't. I think a lot of people just don't want to talk to them because they don't want to have to be there for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have to be a presence. They don't want to have to be somebody that could possibly be leaned on one day or asked to, take on some of this burden emotionally, right? Help them process it maybe or whatever. A lot of people were culpable in it in a lot of ways, I'm sure too. I'm not saying this about her case in particular. I'm just talking about abuse in general. So a lot of people just, I don't want to have anything to do with it. They cut ties. But I love and respect her immensely for coming out and, and being like, no. It's the Uno reverse, right? It's the whole like, it's not me that should be ashamed. It's the men. It's this man. It's this system. These people should be ashamed, not me. I love that.
The words "shame has to change sides" are on the cover of her book, an intimate account of the ordeal.
We were very worried when we heard that she wanted to have an open trial.
Why worry?
Because we knew that there would be a tremendous pressure on her.
At trial, the accused hid their faces as they filed into court. They ranged in age from 26 to 74. Among them, a firefighter, a soldier, a nurse. In court, many claim Gisèle Pelicot must have known, must have been complicit. But Dominique Pelicot admitted everything, testifying it was always against her knowledge, adding he drugged her 2 to 3 times a week. "I had an addiction," he said.
What were the warning signs looking back?
What are you addicted to? Can anybody tell me what the addiction be? Is it possible to be addicted to that? People use addiction. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't act like I'm one. Like, I just don't understand from what I understand of addiction. People think that anything can be addictive, and I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, what are the addictive properties is what I want to understand. What were you addicted to? You know what I'm saying? Are you addicted to the power? Are you, what were you addicted to? I want to know. Because I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit.
I only knew I had blackouts and I had health problems.
You were forgetting things. There were entire periods of days that you didn't remember.
I couldn't remember that I'd been to the hairdresser. It was only the next day that I realized I had. And when I called my children, it was the same. I didn't remember our conversations.
And you're thinking what?
I thought I was seriously ill. I consulted neurologists. I had a CT scan. Nothing was found.
How do you sit and recount all of this with...
When they tested her blood, it wasn't, the drugs weren't in the blood?
Such poise. And almost a softness, but a distance.
I've always been this way. Anger and hatred build nothing. They destroy. And I didn't want to go down that path.
The trial made headlines worldwide and drew huge crowds of supporters who praised Gisèle Pelicot for her bravery, holding her up as a feminist hero.
What are you seeing, thinking, feeling, going through that crowd of cameras?
Mais vous savez, j'étais,
You
pas
know that
seule dans
I
cette phase
wasn't
d'audience
alone.
et ça aussi,
It was an incredible source of strength for me.
All of the 51 men on trial were convicted. Dominique Pelicot was sentenced to the maximum of 20 years.
20 years. That's it? 20 years? That's the max? Man, that's crazy.
Dominique asked you to forgive him. Do you forgive him?
Non, pardonner, c'est extrêmement difficile.
No, forgiveness
Mais
is
je ne
extremely
veux pas vivre dans
difficult.
la haine et je ne peux
But
pas
I
vivre dans
don't
la
want to
haine.
live in
Parce
hatred.
que je pense qu'on a
I
aussi
do need
besoin
to speak with
d'échanger.
him.
Moi, j'ai besoin
And
d'échanger
it will
avec lui.
also be to say
Et
goodbye.
ça sera aussi pour lui dire adieu.
When I tell y'all, you know how people say you better than me, and this woman is she's operating on a different plane. Like I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to like I don't feel like like listening to her, I feel like I'm not an adult. Like I realize like I'm still growing even at 44. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I understand stuff as well as I think I do, because to have that level of acceptance and to be that, because I just think that takes a lot of confidence. I think you have to be like really sure of yourself and things of that nature, to feel the way she feels right now. I don't have that. Like I know I'm not there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I'm not even trying to get there necessarily, but I just know I'm not there. I know that without a doubt. I respect what she said right there immensely. No, I don't forget. I mean, she basically just said, I don't forgive him. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I have to hate him. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. She's saying because the hate is for her. The hate isn't for him. The hate is for you, right? You know what I mean? And to be victimized the way that she was, and to not hate the person that did it to her and the people that did it to her, that's powerful. That's powerful. We don't oftentimes the abused prove that they are the only ones that have any humanity within them. You know what I'm saying? It's similarly to marginalized people, oppressed people. Anytime, oh, the world is terrible and the world is bad. And every time I think about that, I look at marginalized people. I look at victims. I look at survivors. And I'm like, no, that's where the humanity is. I find it in them. I find it in the people that have gone through like a great deal of trauma and pain, and they come out of it not hateful, not broken, not destructive. They don't turn destructive themselves because somebody tried to destroy them. That's the humanity that everybody is looking for. Go look for it right there. Look for it right there. Look for it in people like Gisèle, survivors, other survivors, oppressed people. Go look for it. You'll find it. You'll see humanity all the time. You'll see the good in the world all the time. If you look for it, it's there.
But you want to see him again.
Oui, et là, j'ai besoin d'avoir des réponses.
Yes, I need
Donc
answers.
j'espère que
I may
je
never
les aurai
get
peut-être
them,
jamais, mais ça
but
fait
that's
aussi
also
partie
part
de
of
mon
my
cheminement.
journey.
J'ai besoin de ça aussi.
During our interview, just off camera, was her new partner, Jean-Luc, who was also by her side during the trial, along with her children.
Hold on now. Look at this. The men be trying to tell me that women are older. Look, listen to it. You got an older woman, you got a woman with a bunch of kids, and you got a survivor of, an SA survivor. Publicly, everybody knows, you know what I'm saying, that she was SA'd by dozens of men, right? And she still has a partner. She's not only does that say something about her partner, right? That he still sees the humanity in her and he still respects her, but it also shows a lot about her because she is still open and trusting and, you know what I'm saying, and willing to be with the man of all people, you know what I'm saying, of all people, a man. But she's willing to be accepting and forgiving of men, even though men did this to her, even though men tried to destroy her, and even though men aren't her primary supporters, right? She's still open to the idea of loving a man and being with the man and all of those things. It's just it really is incredible. Like all the things that the bitter men say about women, right? And I'm telling them, I'm always trying to convey to the men, like, but women get hurt and they don't turn around and become destructive. Women, you know what I mean? Men try to destroy women and women don't turn around and hurt everybody around them. They don't buy that, oh, hurt people bullshit. They say, yeah, I was hurt, but I don't got to hurt anybody else. The buck stops with me. I'm gonna start saying hurt me and hurt people. That's the new saying. Hurt me and hurt people.
Excited to get to the point in the book when you meet Jean-Loup. And I think finally something good is happening to this woman.
Et même pensant jamais tomber amoureuse ni même en avoir envie, je disais que c'était
I
une
never
très
thought
belle
I'd fall in
histoire.
love or even want
Maintenant, le
to.
reste, ça nous
It's a
appartient,
beautiful
c'est vraiment
story.
ce que nous
As for the
construisons et à
rest,
le construire
it belongs to us,
ensemble,
and I keep that
relève
to
de
myself.
l'intimité. Et ça, je me le garde pour moi.
But you're in love.
Eh oui.
Indeed, you can fall in love at any age. Everything is possible. That too is a message of hope, to tell yourself that nothing is lost in life.
I knew by her Bob she had somebody. I don't know. She got style. You know what I'm saying? She got it. You know what I mean? She got the look. You know what I mean? I seen the hair. I said, she got a little twinkle in her. It's something about her.
I have all of these notes, as you can see in the book. On the very last page, I made a note for myself, which is somehow it's uplifting in the end.
Je me suis toujours posé la question de savoir quelle était ma mission sur cette terre, savoir pourquoi j'étais venue sur cette terre.
I was always wondering what my mission on earth was, why I had been born. Some are painters, some are poets, others are writers. I think my mission was to give others hope, that even after hardship, you can rise again and choose happiness. I think that was my
Je pense
mission.
que c'était ça ma mission.
Man, that right there, that's crazy. That's a wild. That story is just wild on so many levels, and yeah, that story is just wild, man. Damn, man, that's tough. Shout out to her and her family and her her new man and all her supporters. I think that's awesome. I'm a supporter of hers. I'm not in France, but I support her. And I really want more men to support her. I think more men need to be talking about this. I know that when I say the things that I say, they seem extreme to people who aren't in the know. And I'm even shocked, honestly. I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that. I promise you I'm not. I often though, I'm shocked sometimes about how accurate I am when it comes to this stuff, because I be saying stuff that it's educated, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely taking in, all these studies and whatever, all the information that I have to come to these conclusions and boil them down to these prompts and these ideas that I have, right? But I'm still shocked often by how accurate I am with my assessments of men. I truly am. Because I say things about men and like for an example, I ran a prompt the other day that said that the average man was Jeffrey Epstein. I said the average man was Jeffrey Epstein. I got it from one of my mutuals on TikTok. Like I started off by saying the average man was Corey Holcomb, and then they put in the comments, no, the average man is Jeffrey Epstein. And I fucking was like, yes, actually, I agree with that, right? And the premise for the prompt and the idea is that no, the average man isn't Jeffrey Epstein when you look at, the amount of influence that Jeffrey Epstein has, right? Or had, right? Whatever, depending on if you believe he's alive or not. But when you look at it, when I look at it through the lens of, okay, if you were to give every single regular man the same access and the same money as Jeffrey Epstein at different times, right? Like this is a made up scenario. So not simultaneously, not everybody has all this power, but like he's Jeffrey Epstein, like swap out, like take my uncle I mean, take Jeffrey Epstein and put my uncle in there, right? Would my uncle could my uncle be Jeffrey Epstein? Could he have done the same things, right? Could he have went down the same path, right? Or something similar, or whatever the case may be? And my answer is yes. Because Jeffrey Epstein, he's a part of a larger problem, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, he's not the architect of it. He's a part of it. He's a part of it. He wasn't even at the top. There was a dude that financed him. See what I'm saying? So they made him in a way, right? We made him. I'm saying as a society, we made him, right? And then the men that directly were benefiting from him also made him. That's what I'm saying. So it's not to say, like, I don't think if you left Jeffrey Epstein alone, he would have done that. See what I mean? But once he got in the circles he was in, and blah 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 blah, then yeah, they groomed him just as much. Then he started grooming other people. You see what I mean? And with that being said, again, do I think that the average man would have fallen victim? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Hello and welcome to the forecast. The trial of Gisèle Pelicot shocked France and far beyond. It was a case so disturbing it forced a national reckoning at home, but raised questions everywhere about consent, complicity, and the terrifying ordinariness of the men accused. But as the world continues to confront the vast scale of abuse linked to billionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein, it raises a deeper question. Are these crimes the work of monsters, or do they reveal something far more deep-rooted about power, entitlement, and men? Joining me today is the French philosopher, Professor Manon Garcia, whose latest book, Living with Men, reflects on what she witnessed while observing the Pelicot trial.
So the way that I interpret that is she's basically asking the question, is the average man Jeffrey Epstein? Is the average man, because listen to what she was saying. She's talking about those 50 some odd men that got charged and got convicted, right? I think 51 of them got charged and got convicted in Gisèle's case. She just said that they were just like ordinary men. They were nurses. You heard, right? It was firemen. It was nurses. They were techs. It was regular men. They weren't gazillion, billionaire. The only thing that separated them from other men was opportunity. They had the opportunity to do this, and they did it. So now we have to ask the question, is the average man capable of doing these things? That's the question that's being posed.
And poses the question, how can women live with men now? Professor Garcia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, we want to believe, don't we, that the men who carry out terrible sexual crimes are in some way an aberration, a perversion. And we can look at a man who drugs his wife and then invites other men to come and rape her as a monster, a one-off, but it doesn't explain the scores of men who took up his invitation to come and rape his wife.
Yeah, so I think this is what I found very interesting with the Pelicot trial, is that usually the cases that get public attention are cases that are extraordinary, that are like the horrible case of Sarah Everard in the UK. So, women walking at home and getting raped on the way. And so this corresponds to a fake horrible scenario of a known man in a parking lot, etc. But we know when we work on sexual violence that most of the times it happens in the family, at home, with people you know. And so with the Pelicot trial, with the Pelicot case, you have the extraordinary dimension of at least 70 men, something that really catches the attention of everyone. That sounds horrible. We have a sort of voyeur desire to know more how horrible it is. And then what we see is the normalcy of sexual violence. We see a man that rapes his wife, that, he loves her, but he also does horrible things to her. We see really complexity of patriarchy, complexity of human actions, complexity of responsibility, moral questions, which for me was, as a philosopher, was really fascinating.
I mean, You know, it's a particularly pertinent moment to be talking to you for a number of reasons. You know, the headlines are full of the Epstein case at the moment, and all the talk is about rich and powerful men and the way they abuse that wealth and that power that they have. These were not particularly rich men. These were ordinary men. These were lorry drivers, a nurse, a journalist, a soldier. And that messes with our head, doesn't it?
I'm so sick. Again, I'm so sick of these conversations with men when they always they try to other themselves, like, oh, it couldn't be me. Oh, it's not. Oh, boys do that and bad. No, it's just men. It's just men, man. This is why it's all men, because listen, there is no qualifier for this. The only qualifier is you're a man, you're a male. That's it. You're a man, you can do it. And when they ask me, whenever you read a study on, like, when they did the study on would a man rape a woman, but they didn't use the word rape, right? So they asked men would they rape a woman, and the men were like, no. Then they asked them, oh, would you do X, Y, and Z, and asked it in a different way, pretty much. And the majority of the men said, yeah. Because I've said this before, the same way that in the West, we are socialized to be triggered by certain words because we're not really that educated on any of this stuff, right? So we are socialized to be triggered by the word communism, by socialism, anti-capitalism. These are words that are triggering. Racism, racist, right? Somebody calls you a racist. Oh, I'm not a racist. But if you just describe the actions of a racist, a lot of people would say, yes, that's racist. Or they might even admit to being racist themselves. But if you call them a racist, no, because that they know that word comes with certain connotations. They just don't want to be ostracized. That's the thing. They don't want to be called out, right? When you talk about rape, when you describe it without the word, because the word is triggering, most men will agree to doing it. And furthermore, most men have done it. Most men have done it and or tried to do it to a woman or a girl. Most men. And men get really like, that's just you. And no. That's just men. That's just men. You don't believe me? Ask women, ask girls. Ask women, ask girls. Start asking them. By the time a woman is 30 years old, I bet every single woman that you talk to has been SA'd. I ain't talking about full-blown tackled, you know what I'm saying, and pinned down. I'm not saying that, because rape is rape, right? Because and the only way that a lot of men understand rape is like, she's actively fighting me off. Now I know it's rape. That woman could tell you go faster and it still be rape, just so y'all know. Just so y'all know. That's a fight, flight, fall, and freeze situation. She could be telling you that just to get you to hurry up and finish, because she want to be over it, right? But y'all don't want to talk about that. Instead, y'all, oh, not me. Oh, nah, it's you. It's you. That's why I love having these conversations. I love having the tough conversations. I don't mind putting myself in there, what I've done. I'll be honest. I'll be straight up, because I don't ever want to do it. And I don't want my sons to do it. And I don't want anybody else to do it. So why not acknowledge it? If every woman has been through it, then that means every man has done it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm being hyperbolic, but you know what I mean? Like, if every woman has been SA, then that means every man has committed SA, bro. It is so rare. They'd be like, so you mean to tell me only 30% of men have SA'd every single? No. No. If 98% of women have been SA'd, then I give you 95% of men have done it. That's the difference.
Yes, but it's so interesting because when it happened, people were saying, look, it's a class thing. They're lower middle class or working class men. They're from France, or they're from the south of France. So basically, the people in Germany or in the US or in the UK were telling me, oh, it's such a French case. The people in Paris were telling me it's a south of France case. The bourgeois were telling me it's a working class case. And now people are saying, oh, the Epstein scandal, it's an upper class case. And so in both cases, it's the same system of entitlement, of social structure, of men not like lacking accountability and thinking that women victims don't matter. And so it's there. So of course the Epstein files are particularly outrageous because it's men in power, but it's fundamentally the same idea of we don't get to pay for anything we do. We protect each other exactly like these men in Mazan protected each other, because some of them knew each other actually. Some of them talked to their friends about what they had done. No one called the police. Even in the trial, there were two men who had come to the house of the Pelicot and who said, "No, I'm not doing this." But and Gisèle Pelicot asked them during the trial, "Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you send me an anonymous letter?" Like, imagine, we've watched all these TV shows. They had just to cut a few letters from the newspapers and tell her, your husband is having you raped and drugged. But there is this sort of we protect each other feeling that we see exactly the same way in the Epstein files. So it's not a matter of class.
So whether you're
Damn, that was so okay. So there were men who were solicited. They went over there and then they said, nah, this is messed up. This is crazy. I'm not going to do it. And didn't say anything about it. That is why it is all men. See, they didn't do it, right? They didn't do it. They did not do it. They did not go through with it. But they also didn't do anything about it, and they could have and they should have. Did they not have a moral obligation? Does their social contract not compel them to step in and to protect her? Does it not? It does. And they broke it. They breached the contract when they did that. Now, as soon as you breach the contract by not informing the victim and by not protecting the victim, now you are just as bad. Now you are just as culpable. Legalities aside, fam. This is not about legalities. This is about morality. This proves that the legal system and morality have nothing to do with one another. Yeah, they overlap at times, but they're completely separate systems. Because morally speaking, that is reprehensible. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That you could go over somebody's house, see how egregious this is, see how disturbing this is, right? And then go, I'm not going to do it, but I'm also not going to say anything. What does that say about you? What does that say about you? How could you sleep? You never wondered what happened to her? That woman could have been dead for all you knew. You never stopped and thought, damn. I wonder if she's still alive. Like, what do you, like they asked the question in the beginning. Essentially, the women are asking the question, how can women even live with men at this point? Why are you guys even with us? Why are you even around us? How is it even safe for women to be around men? It doesn't even make sense at this point. Because it's dead. It's like every fucking man. It's every man. Because even if it's not the man that would do it, that man won't say anything about it. That's really, that's disturbing. That's really bad. That's really bad. And there's nothing a man can say to justify that or to rationalize that. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of the arguments. I'm tired of the lack of support. I'm tired of it. It doesn't. Men are what they say we are, right? Whatever women say we are, that is what we are. Women think we're monsters. We're monsters. That's what we are. We are indefensible. You cannot defend the actions of men as a group. You can't. You'll be a fool to try to. Any man that does, you are just as bad as Jeffrey Epstein. And that's why the average man is Jeffrey Epstein. That is why. Because y'all go out of y'all way to defend these men.